Hey guys, and welcome to Data Driven Value, where we show you the tools and teach you the skills to help you take your financial freedom into your own hands. So we're going to jump back into the charts. We're going to cover a little bit more in depth on Bitcoin and crypto today. We do have some movers in that asset class. The stock market is kind of having mixed reactions. We'll take a really quick look at that as well. But we did cover a lot of stocks and kind of the macro in depth yesterday in our Technical Tuesday video. So if you haven't checked that out, you can go check that out, see what we are looking at. But I'm going to kind of reference it really quickly again today. So we'll flip over to our charts here, starting at the SPY. So we can see here basically down a little bit across all our major stock market indices. So the SPY, the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, and the Russell 2000 all down between 0.25 and 0.5% there. We see TLT with a little bit of green here, just barely holding on. Bitcoin also a little bit of green. It is kind of correcting already. Gold kind of flat. So yeah, really just mixed signals across the board here. Everything's kind of flat, if not a little bit red. We're looking at our SPY here. So we talked about this potentially losing some steam and maybe due for a bit of a correction here. So it is okay. Right now we're holding above our volume shelf here. So as long as we're above right here, this 603, that's our point of control right now. We want to be able to maintain that as support for a potential to get another leg up and put in kind of a new sustainable high, and try to keep coming out of this downtrend here, keep the uptrend structure, and then hopefully I can get back into price discovery and put in new highs. That being said, we're going to wait for that confirmation move, so we need to see it break out, print that higher low there, supporting our structure, and see our momentum indicators supporting that move as well. What I'm kind of worried about in the near term is I don't think we have really the steam to kind of really get that breakout move that we want to hold that and kind of maintain that uptrend structure. We see on the daily here our MACD is slowing down a little bit, starting to curl back over. We see the RSI curling back over in just kind of neutral territory. The DMI on the daily is just kind of a neutral setup as well. What I do want to show you here, so we talked about candlestick patterns as being a potential another signal we can use to kind of gauge, general market direction. So right here we came up. This is a hanging man candle here, so this is a bearish candle. That doesn't necessarily mean we have to break down or this is the top, but that being said, we do recognize that our momentum indicators are a little overheated, kind of turning bearish. We are at this heavy resistance here, very historical resistance back through here, acting as resistance. We want to flip it to support, but that being said, it's not guaranteed that we do. So just watching the price action again, either going to come back and back test this as now resistance and ultimately break down further, or we'll get that breakout move, hold this as the lows, and then we'll look to enter kind of a swing position a little bit higher. As I always say, I'd rather enter a little bit higher than enter into a falling knife or buying resistance. So we'll also flip over to the 4 hour because I'll show you here. Same thing, you want your momentum indicators to support your thesis across a couple time frames. So looking at the 4 hour and the daily, we see both setups are pretty much bearish here. We see the DMI line here below the DMI negative line. Our RSI coming back into what could be a bearish cross coming up here. Bearish cross coming up here. So we do expect some short-term volatility in terms of the SPY, even if it's just a classic correction. We do have a bit of a trend line just right through here. So look for the first support right through here at about 603. That's kind of also right around that point of control I mentioned. So watch for that. If we break below this, then we're going to have to test these lower levels of support. The first one is going to be right here around this bull market support band. And then we've also got this long upsloping trend line acting as support. We can also take a look at our moving averages here, see what we're looking at. And I'll even throw the order blocks in. So yeah, take a look here on the low time frame. There is a little order block right through here in this trend line that coincides, but if it's not able to hold and we break below, then I do feel like we're going to test these lower levels here. We see this is going to be a bigger buy order right here, and also stacked with our bull market support band and the confluence of this long upsloping trend line. So if we look back quite a ways, you'll see kind of where this trend line starts. So yeah, just a lot of price action through here, all the way back to there. So we do see if we come back to this level, I'll clean the chart up for you a little bit here. We'll get rid of our order blocks and we'll get rid of our bull market support band for now. We'll leave our moving average up. So looking at the 200-day and the 50-day, obviously we want to be above the 200-day and the 50-day for that sustained uptrend. So we start to see our 50-day curling over here. That's just something we're going to continue to want to watch. If we break below it, then we might be due to come back and back backtest either this trend line here, or even if we come back to our 200-day moving average, that's going to offer a pretty good opportunity to buy the SPY in my opinion. We're not going to get into too much else there, just covering the SPY, dollar flat, everything else kind of flat for the day. What I do want to talk about is Bitcoin, crypto, and kind of specific coins that I've talked about in terms of narratives that I'm looking for the cycle going forward. So just taking a look at Bitcoin on the low time frame, see if we can get a good idea here. We did have a bullish cross of the MACD. We see our DMI is looking really good. Yeah, we want to see that blue line really break out. I'll zoom in nice and close here. We are kind of curling over. We don't want to see this reject rate here like it did right back here. We want to see this break out and get above this red and orange line for that bullish setup on the DMI. We'll get rid of that for now, and RSI is kind of just neutral here, so kind of a neutral-ish, maybe slightly bullish leaning on the momentum indicators. Not a crazy uptick in volume or anything, but we are kind of stuck between our 50-day and our 200-day, kind of in that downtrend structure right now. So currently I am in a swing long in Bitcoin that I shared in my Telegram group. We entered at 94,500. So we have just, yeah, we're actually out of that one now. I told my group about it half an hour ago that I'm moving my stop loss up to 96K because I wanted to protect the integrity of that trade, and I wanted to stop out in profits and not kind of end up just going back down to my entry there. So we're going to kind of do the same thing. We'll just wait. We're in kind of no man's land for Bitcoin. You know, we'll see what happens. You know, a decent little swing trade, a 10% return on leverage. So, you know, nice little just trade kind of in this choppy market. You know, there is opportunities to kind of make some money here and there, but we always wait for confirmation before getting too aggressive in anything. So we'll flip over to Ethereum here. So Ethereum kind of just was breaking, or in this wedge here. It tried to break out here, ultimately broke back into the wedge, and we're still in it. So just consolidating here. You know, the price action does look good so far. So we've got our higher high here on our 1 hour, and then hopefully we put in that higher low and then continue that structure, and we can hopefully get a breakout here. Look to reverse the structure and continue to the upside. We are losing steam on our MACD and our RSI, so yeah, I do think we come back, maybe test this lower support here, kind of around 2650, even a little bit lower. We could even come back to this upsloping trend line here. If we take a look at it on the daily here, RSI looks pretty good, you know, a little bit more oversold, kind of below neutral, more oversold. MACD is oversold, but our histogram is quite green, so it looks like it's almost curling back over, losing a bit of steam. So what I want to make sure here is that we're really waiting for that confirmation. Right now, we're just as likely to do this, kind of break down, back test, and then, yeah, we're just ultimately due to retest these support levels down here. So that could entirely happen, or we could get our breakout move. You know, we're not sure which one is going to play out. We do have a bit of slowdown on the momentum indicators, signaling that we might be due for more of a breakdown. But if we do get this breakout here and we're able to maintain that uptrend structure, I would look for my entry somewhere around here, and then that's what I'm looking for. You know, we still hopefully get above this 200-day, and with the 50-day converging rate around there, that's what we want to see. So looking for either price action, not getting too aggressive too early. There might be some swing opportunities here and there, but in terms of overall larger accumulation buys, wait for that confirmation, especially with Ethereum. It's kind of really in no man's land right now in this bear flag. So we'll see what happens there. FET, looking right here at support, yeah, it needs to hold this support right through here. Otherwise, we're just due for more consolidation. So just watch that. We want to see that higher high, higher low, and then we'll potentially start to look at it then. But yeah, FET's looking, it's at high time frame support, but losing momentum on the indicators here. So kind of not actionable in my opinion. Tau, one I kind of pointed out on my group that I'm watching. So we were watching this one for this. We pointed out this higher low. We're looking for that higher high right here and subsequent higher low before we're going to actually take that swing position. So right now we are stuck below here. So we did print the higher low, but if we can't take out this high right here at about 437, then we're just going to be due for a more consolidation. You know my thoughts. We wait for confirmation. So just watching that, and what we want to see is a break of this high. then we're above our 50-day and our 200-day. Maybe we come back, retest the support rate through here, and then that's going to be our entry for that swing move with Tau. Yeah, we want to see those momentum indicators really supporting that move. So if we flip to the 4-hour, yeah, looking oversold here. So we'll see if it can get a bit more of a pump up. We'll take a look at the 1-hour really quickly. Look at the very short time frame. So yeah, we are losing a bit of steam. Let's definitely hope that we get up here and we're able to take out these highs, but no guarantees. Otherwise, we'll just see what happens and we let the price action play out, wait for that confirmation. But essentially, we're going to be waiting for Tau. Tau is one of my main picks for kind of my AI narrative here. So we did kind of have a large Fibonacci golden zone retracement here back to horizontal support. We've broken out of our long downtrend for now. So now what we need to see is we want to get above the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. We want that volume uptick, so we're looking to see a big kind of an uptick in volume right through here. Nice buying on that flash crash over here, and nice follow through with the buying here. But yeah, watching for the uptick, and then also for that higher high, higher low structure, and then we can enter that trade and it's off and running. So AI is doing pretty good today. AIOZ also doing well. FET is lagging a little bit though, so we do see here momentum indicators looking a little bit better for AIOZ. We are below our 50-day and 200-day, and we're kind of in that high time frame downtrend structure. So we're going to need to make sure that we are reversing this. It's not looking too good in terms of price action. Yeah, not actionable in my opinion. Stuck below the 50-day and 200-day. Stuck kind of right at the point of control in terms of the volume range here. And also our momentum indicators kind of leaning a little bit more bearishly in terms of momentum looking forward. So we do want to just see that consolidation down here, bottom structure form, before we kind of get too aggressive on AIOZ as well. Ondo, one of my top picks for kind of RWA. We are breaking below. We did come back to this zone right here of support, but we're kind of losing this horizontal support rate through here. We will see the momentum indicators are a little bit more oversold, but they're not really leaning kind of bullish direction quite yet. We'll take a look at the DMI here. We'll see directional movement index. Yeah, so also not the best setup. We wanted to see that blue line holding above the red line here and then kind of get above that orange line. It looks like the orange line is really pushing the blue line down and kind of the red line right through here. So slightly more bearish setup in the near term. And, we are in that downtrend structure. So also Ondo, not really actionable in my opinion. Wait for that bottom confirmation. Wait for those multiple higher lows, higher highs. Right at the 200-day moving average down here. So we will see if we come back there, test that as support, and maybe look for a bit of a bottom kind of around there. Flipping over to Link, also looks a little similar here, right at this kind of high time frame support, horizontal support. We've got our 200-day moving average, quite a bit of resistance up through the volume range here. And also, yeah, our momentum indicators not looking too good in the very near term, so 12-hour chart. If we look at the 4-hour, our MACD kind of looks to be rejecting there. No volume really coming in, so yeah, I do expect this move to kind of just break down further, test these lower support levels, do more consolidating. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we can hold these lows at $16. Otherwise, we're just destined to kind of go to lower targets. So if we take a look back at the high time frame, we can see here, we'll pull a Fibonacci. We see from this swing low here to this swing high. Sorry about that, adjusted a little bit. So right now we are at that 618. So if we break below our current support level, I do think we just come back maybe 1426, that 786. That could be a really good accumulation opportunity, assuming a traditional cycle is going to play out and we do get an alt season. So we do see, just watching that potential down there to come back kind of sub $15, it might be an opportunity. It's what we did over here. We had this rally up and then ultimately coming back to that 786, finding support there. We do look at that support. So right through here, where we actually found support was, look at all the horizontal. So resistance, 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 and now acting as support. So if we look here, look at this. We have resistance, resistance, resistance. Is this? So this could potentially, look to build a position in Link from, $15, $14.50 here at the 786 down to about $12.50 here. So that would just be the prior highs, right? Or yeah, the prior resistance now flipped as support is what we want to see. So looking for that on Chainlink. Coming over to Om is just insane. Looks to be breaking out again. So just crazy price action, massive candle here. I am in a swing long in right now. I have shared that in my Telegram group as well. So we are just looking here. We kind of broke out of this, and we were in that uptrend structure. We have kind of risked it right here. We're just at that point of control. So I personally, I've moved my stop loss just below my entry in this trade. I'm not looking to kind of risk too much. If it starts to break down, I'm just going to cut the trade, not worry about that kind of in the near term, and wait for the confirmation before I really start to kind of get more aggressive. But we look here, the indicator setup is not as bad as some of the other ones, but kind of still looking to be rejecting and maybe more like downwards price action. So we will see if it can hold these lows. We can take a look at the really low time frame with this one, just because it is kind of more of a scalp trade. So that's what I was seeing here. We came here, we broke out, and then we back tested here. So this was the entry, and then we're up, and we're kind of just consolidating through here. But you see right through here, this is where we lost that structure. So we kind of lost our potential uptrend here, and it's just reversing lower high, lower low, lower high. We could have a reversal in the market to the upside if we get a bounce, but just based on this price action, that's why I move my stop loss to entry, just to de-risk that trade. This is a really choppy market. They're hard to trade. These short-term trades are kind of just to try and take advantage of little price swings. And again, we're just not getting too aggressive with anything. We're making a plan. So is one I do like for the RWA, the real world asset narrative. So watching that going forward. Looking here at Near actually kind of holding these lows right through here pretty well on the 15-minute, but we're going to look to a higher time frame because that's not really important to us for an asset like Near. Looking at it in terms of the 4-hour, very oversold, but also not getting that bullish cross like we want. Kind of a bearish setup across our momentum indicators for the most part. Just consolidating in this horizontal support here. So not the worst place, but also you do recognize we're not in that bottom structure, that trend reversal. So we're just waiting for more confirmation. We want to see really that bottom form, higher highs, higher lows, and yeah, stuck under the 50-day and the 200-day. So not the strongest looking coin in my opinion in terms of some of the alts we're looking at right now. If we're looking at SUI, also was in this long downtrend, broke out. It's currently back testing, holding it here, but you do recognize that's the lower low, and then if this is a high, that's a lower high. Maybe we come back here. So also SUI, one that I do like going forward, but we want to see that proper confirmation, higher highs, higher lows. It's holding the 200-day moving average for now, which is good. RSI, our MACD looks good. It actually had a bit of a bullish cross right here. Might curl back over there and lose it though. The DMI looks really good as well, and the RSI, it's kind of neutral right here. So as long as we can hold these lows and then potentially start to put that uptrend structure on the lower time frame, SUI actually looks a little bit better than some of the other ones. We do want to see more volume coming in. So you guys know my thoughts. Wait for confirmation, and then we'll enter that position when it makes sense. Right now, on a technical basis, it just isn't quite the best entry. So flipping over to Pepe. This is one of the memes I talk about. So if you're going to get into meme coins, I only really recommend getting into the higher cap meme coins and don't risk too much. So Doge and Pepe are basically the only two meme coins that I'm really interested in putting in any kind of money. I'm not even fully sold on them myself. It's going to kind of be as I go. I'm going to make a plan if I want to allocate to it or not. The charts will depend a little bit. We do see the MACD a little bit oversold here, but kind of rejecting, curling back down. RSI rejecting, curling back down, and the DMI kind of a bit of a bearish setup. So Pepe, we just want to see that bottom confirmation again. I'm going to say it over and over, and you guys are probably going to get sick of it, but I want to get this in your heads because it's going to help you in your own investments. It's going to stop you from kind of buying into something before you have actual confirmation. That's what we call buying a falling knife. So if you were to buy right here, we've got this trend line there. So essentially, we're just coming back into that trend line. So you do see right through here a similar kind of price action. These bear flags, they ultimately just break down and then kind of bleed to lower. So if we just keep bleeding, that's what we call a falling knife. You don't want to keep buying it all the way down. Essentially, you'd rather wait for it to bottom and then buy it on the way up on the uptrend, because that's going to give you better returns. It's not going to end up with you in a loss right off the start. So Pepe, we're just waiting on that. Not much happening right there. Doge is at this high time frame support rate through here, holding above the 200-day moving average, but kind of still stuck under the 50-day. If we take a look at our bull market support band here, so yeah, bull market support band above it. So yeah, we need to see it really show some strength, get above these moving averages here. We'll take a look here at our order block, see if we have anything. So yeah, order blocks kind of right through the support here, but also yeah, definitely some selling as well, and the price action not looking the most bullish here. Again, that's what we talk about. Breakdown below support, back test, rejection. You know, we just need more consolidation from Doge. Nothing crazy looking like it's happening anytime soon here. XRP, we did have this breakout of this bull flag here, coming back, huge wick down. So this was that day that kind of all the altcoins dumped out like crazy. Most of them did recover, so huge scam wick kind of thing. Big liquidation event. That's why we don't really over risk ourselves when the market doesn't make sense, because you can get caught in something like this anytime in crypto. It's not uncommon, so just watching that. But we do see right now we did come back to our golden zone. We're bouncing a little bit. So we want to see XRP continue to kind of put in that uptrend structure on the low time frame. So right through here, we've kind of got that higher, so higher low, higher high. So we lost our higher low, and there we go. So basically one higher high, one higher low. I want to see a take out of this high right here, and I want to see that higher low, and then I'll look to enter slightly higher. You know, I'm always more worried about getting in on the right side of the trend than I am about catching the exact bottom. I'd rather even wait for something like this to take place and then get in on the trade right through here on this back test. Like often, guys, I point out we do get these back tests. You know, these levels of support do need to be tested before we can kind of continue up to new highs. So that's what I'm looking for XRP. Flipping over to Binance. Binance has had some pretty good news lately. They've resumed US dollar withdrawals and deposits for their US Binance platform, which is really good. Hopefully we'll start to see them really kind of getting that regulatory clarity from the new administration, really pushing. So CZ doing everything he can to really kind of push Binance. He obviously wants Binance to be one of the biggest players. It always has been. They've lost a lot of market share since kind of having to close operations in the West. So we'll see, maybe with the new administration, more clarity, they're able to actually reopen their operations. But we do see uptrend structure here is kind of reversed. So we'll take a look. We see our Fibonacci retracement here on the higher time frame, looking for a target of, you know, 558 up to about 595 for that potential higher time frame entry. Taking a look at our momentum indicators, still looking a little bit bearish. Nothing too crazy. Also, if we take a look at the higher time frame, that's going to look even more bearish. So I do think we're just due to come back, put in that higher time frame, higher low, and that's going to be really good actually. If we can put in this low and hold above the 786, then that's one higher high, one higher low. Then we're essentially 2 data points away from entering that position, being in a confirmed uptrend. You see the 200-day and the 50-day here kind of stacked up. So if we did see something like this, we come back here, we retest this, we break this high, and then we got to come back and we retest our 50-day and our 200-day. Like they'd be coming right through here. That's what I'm looking for to kind of play out. Yeah, so also confirmation is key. Moving on, we'll take a look at Litecoin last of all. So lots of different coins that are moving. I'm not giving you guys kind of any crazy, there's no like trades to be taking right now. I just want to show you what I'm looking for in terms of how I gauge if something is likely to reverse, and then making a plan ahead of time rather than kind of, rather than waking up, seeing the charts move, and then trying to figure out what's going on, what's our plan, what do we do. We're going to make our plan way ahead of time. We follow our checklist. We make sure that it's likely in an uptrend. So Litecoin's looking really good here. We came up, higher low, higher high, higher low. If we can break out of here and hold this area as support, that's going to look really good for Litecoin. We even caught this trade here. Unfortunately, I did have a stop. Well, not unfortunately. I had a stop loss and I got wicked out of it essentially right here. But we had this breakout move. We came back, entered in the Fibonacci golden zone. We had our stop loss right here below support. but we did have that market manipulation, that huge wick. That being said, I would rather get wicked out kind of. If this ended up into a sustained sell-off here, it could have got really bad really quickly. So that's why we just have those stop losses to protect our positions. It's okay. We just we kind of reassess when they hit, and then we move on to the next trade opportunity. So looking at Litecoin, if we see it break out here into this resistance, hold this down sloping trend line as support, as well as maybe this right through here, you could be looking at an entry for Litecoin right through there. Litecoin should do well. They do have the potential to be approved for an ETF kind of in the coming, I'm not going to say months, because it took a long time for the Bitcoin ETF to get approved. But if we do see something like this, you know, that's where you're looking to enter in Litecoin. That is that confirmed uptrend. We're holding above key support, and we do have our moving averages stacked in our favor. Taking a look at the momentum indicators, looking better. You see the DMI here. It looks better than the other coins here. So Litecoin showing a lot of relative strength right now. I'm going to flip over to stocks really quickly. Just take a look at what's going on. Tesla's up today. We did see, that's what we wanted to see, continued strength breakout here. We're waiting for that confirmation still. Nvidia up a little bit, continuing on its way. We do see, so we into resistance still. See what happens. Everything else kind of down. Amazon down a little bit. Google flat. We did Dollar General and Dollarama are up, so Dollar Store is doing a little bit better as well. They are kind of showing that uptrend structure on the daily here. We see that higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So Dollar Stores are kind of putting in a bit of a bottom pattern here, so we'll continue watching those. Moving down, we see Palantir red for the day, Shopify red. Dell, I want to take a look at Dell. Dell is one that we're talking about. Had this beautiful breakout. Yeah, just needs to hold this 50-day and to get above the 200-day for that confirmed uptrend. But it looks pretty good. The daily looks like we're due for a little correction. So we're going to pull our Fibonacci level and see what looks like a potential swing entry here. So from the low to the high, and we see this support through here, this horizontal support at 108. This needs to hold to maintain that uptrend structure. And then we might look for that entry. You know, right in here is my plan on that breakout back test, and then riding that trade up higher. Flipping over to Intel. Intel's down 5% today. So we did see it kind of huge breakout yesterday, breaking above the 200-day and the 50-day. If we come back to this 618 right here at 22.34, I'm going to be looking at Intel and a bit of a swing trade. Again, kind of focusing on some of these companies that are more US-based for AI chip and infrastructure providers. That's why I like Intel. That's why I've been talking about Dell. Essentially, they've kind of been left behind. We've seen all these AI players just trading at all-time highs. Not with some of these other guys. I think they've kind of just been left in the dust for not for a very good reason, but just because of the lack of market share. Nvidia had such a major advantage ahead of all their competitors. But the same thing with Tesla. As time goes on, these companies are able to kind of advance their chips, advance their supply chains, their manufacturing processes, and then really start to capture that market share. So I do expect more and more companies to be capturing market share from Nvidia going forward. Last but not least, we're going to take a look at Tempest AI. This is one of the Nancy Pelosi stocks that just kind of went nuts here. It is well above all this support here. If we were to look at it, kind of if it came back to $54, it might be an entry there, but this is kind of one of those ones that's just taken off and running, and we're not chasing it up here. But if we get an opportunity back down here, it might be worth buying. So that's all really for today. I just wanted to touch on a bunch of different cryptos, stocks briefly. I did cover a lot of stocks yesterday, so there's more in-depth TradFi in the technical analysis video yesterday. But if you like the content, if you learned something new, please like, share, subscribe. It all means the world to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.